So let's now look at opening workset related projects. How do they work? What I've got now is two different sessions of Revit open. If I come down here to the bottom of the screen and hover there, you can see I've got one session open there. That's the one we can see on the screen at the moment with the central model available. I've got another one here, as you'll notice, that hasn't got anything open right now. I've got that open for a reason, and we'll look at that in a moment. Let's go back here to the one with the central model. Now, let's check the settings before we save the central model. So we go up to our options in the application menu. There's options there. And you'll notice that the username is user1, like so. And I need to check the file location as well. Make sure that's in the right place. So default path for user files there. And you can see there, it's in my projects folder already. I can set that very easily by clicking here and clicking here. And I want it in that folder there, my projects folder. So that's all set, and what I do is I OK that. And then what I would do there is I would save that information. Now, I don't actually need to save it. Can you see that the save icon on the quick access toolbar is now grayed out? I don't need to save it at all because it's the central model. Now, user1 is a user, but also the CAD or BIM manager who maintains the central model file. Let's go to that other session of Revit now here. So I'm going to go to the one that's now got nothing open. I'm going to change in the options now to a different user. So you'll notice there, username is now user2. I'll check the file locations as well. So I'll browse there. Again, you'll notice they're going to the projects folder, but I'll just check that and make sure. So what I'll do is I'll go in here, make sure that that's going into the projects folder there as well, like so. So that's all set up, and I'll click on OK. Now what I do is I go to Open, and I select the central file. Now you'll notice there's already a user2 file there. Don't worry about that. So I'll click there like that. There's the central file. And what I want to do is create a new local file like so. And then I'll click on Open. And it's telling me now you're trying to create a new local file that already exists. So I'm just going to overwrite that existing file that was already there. So that takes a few seconds to load up, but notice the file name at the top of the screen. It's now Central1 User 2. Now, before you do anything else, before any confusion kicks in, change the file name. Do a save as. So what we do is we go here, we do a save as, and we go to project there like so, and we make sure that we save that to Revit Structure Advanced Local. So I'll change that to Local 1. Like so, but it's for user 2, so I'll just save that. That's done. So that'll take a few seconds to change as well. Let it save everything. Now that's all saved and in place, and it's local 1 user 2. I go to the Collaborate tab, and you'll notice I can't actually edit those particular work sets. Why can't I edit those? That's because they're signed out to user 1. What I need to do is create my own work set as user 2. So I go to work sets here. Notice they're owned by user 1. So I click on New, and my new work set there will be something like slabs and roofs, let's say. Visible in all views, I'll OK that. As you can see, that is editable. It's owned by me as user 2, so I'll OK that. So I would now go in, make my changes in my local model, make sure that I synchronize. So I'll synchronize that to central. So all that detail now gets synchronized to the central file, which is also open. And that file now, that local file is mine. And that work set is now mine. So if I come down here and look at now the central one here, notice general work set, shared levels and grids are mine, but I can't see the other one. Okay, but bear in mind here, I've got the central file open, so I don't want to do a synchronize with central. But if I was user 1 and I opened up my own local file now, I've got their general work set and also shared levels and grids. So what I do is I go to Open, and I select the central file here, like so, and I click on Create New Local. Cannot open local model and central model in the same Revit session. So my central model has to be closed. So I'll close that there, load cancelled. And then I close it here. So the central model is now saved. Now, as user 1, I go to Open. I then go to the central and create a new local, like so. Click there. You're trying to create a new local file. on that particular file. User 1, can you see central user 1 already exists? What do you want to do? I'll overwrite the existing file. I'm not overwriting the central file, I'm overwriting that user 1 of the central file. And then immediately do a save as. First thing you do, whenever you set up a local file, do a save as. And what we'll do, can you see I've got local 1 user 2 there? I'll change that to local 1 user 1 because I'm user 1 now in this particular session of Revit. Again, takes a few seconds to save. It's updating, saving that where it should. So that's now local 1 user 1. If I go to collaborate now, notice slabs and roofs are not editable because they're owned by user 2. Whereas general workset, shared level and grids are owned by me, user 1. If I go back to the other Revit session now and go back here, you'll notice because I'm now user 2, those two are not editable, but the slabs and roofs is editable because that's my user 2 workset. So that's how you open and work with these workset related projects.